Okay, so good morning. So today the proposition here obviously is a very controversial issue. And we all three judges believe that both sides have did a wonderful job, in particular in your language and your delivery. However, we also do want to remind you some of the contents that you might want to pay attention to. Okay, so from the on the affirmative side, okay, usually during the first affirmative speech, you need to first clarify or to highlight the harm that is caused by the current situation, and then you should try to give a rough plan. However, in the first affirmative speech, actually we do not really hear very clearly about your harm. Okay, it is only brought up later on in your following speech. So it will be better if you can first remind us how serious the harm is. And also, the plan on the affirmative side is less clear. Okay, you mentioned that you would like to post it on the internet. You would like to publicize it through newspapers or through TV commercials. However, there are some details you might want to think more about it. Okay, so for example, you also talked about the categories, different categories of sex offenders. So will you have different treatment to them? Okay, the ways that you're publicizing your information, will there be any differences? So you might want to think about the details of your plan. Okay, so for example, another thing is that in the cross-examination, the negative also mentioned, or in one of their speech, they mentioned that who will be responsible, okay, for this policy. These are some of the things that you might want to think more about. For the negative side, okay, there was one part when the affirmative side asked you about your plan. Okay, so in a policy statement, the negatives do need to bring up a minor repair. Okay, so you attacked on the significance of your harm. And then you also talked about the problems with your plan, whether they're feasible, whether they're workable, or whether they will bring about some disadvantages. Okay, so after you have successfully built your case, of course, you need to bring up a minor repair. So what do you propose to do? So obviously we cannot just say, okay, so the affirmative plan is really bad, so we ignore the problem. Because we do need to acknowledge that even though the percentage is relatively low, but there is still a problem there. So it is your responsibility to mention what you are going to do, the minor repair. And also it will be your responsibility to prove that your minor repair will work. Okay, just like the affirmative need to prove the solvency of your plan, the negative also need to prove the solvency of the minor repair. And another very interesting part that I have observed during the cross-examination is about the burden of proof. So who will assume the burden of proof? So I believe there is one side proposed a claim saying that so they're saying that usually sex offense will not be committed in public. Okay, so the other side will ask them to give the proof. Okay, and then the original side asked the other side, the opposing side, to give proof that actually this claim is not true. So in this case, my suggestion is that usually the burden of proof will fall on the side or fall on the debater that have proposed a claim. In this case, if one side have proposed that sex offense usually do not occur in public, then it is your burden of proof. It is your responsibility to prove this. Okay, so which brings us to my last suggestion. In this debate, obviously there are a lot of evidence. Okay, you talked about this statistics, for example, like 2.7%. Okay, usually you can actually go a step further to ask more about these evidence. So, for example, what is your source? Okay, who is the author? What is the author's potential? Okay, what is the date of this research? Okay, because obviously there will have different kind of data. There will be different kinds of evidence. So some of the side may found out that the recidivism rate is not actually 2.7%. It might be 3.5%. In this case, you need to evaluate the credentials of both pieces of evidence. So my last suggestion here is to you can try to pursue the credentials of each piece of evidence. But in general, okay, both sides did a wonderful job today. Okay, your language delivery are both really good. But, okay, at the end of this comments, I would like to announce that the winning team goes to the negative today. And I also need to announce the best debater. Okay, so the best debater in this round goes to the first negative.
Ladies and gentlemen, now please have your